My name is Elias, and last summer I took a job as a night security guard at a partially abandoned psychiatric hospital on the outskirts of Seattle. I needed the money, and it seemed like easy work. All I had to do was patrol the hallways twice a night and make sure no urban explorers got inside. The place was vast, cold, and smelled of decades of sterilization and hidden misery. During my first patrol at 2 a.m., the silence wasn't peaceful. It was oppressive.
Music licensing.
The dim fluorescent lights struggled against the absolute darkness waiting at the end of every corridor. My third shift started normally, but at 3:15 a.m., as I sat in the cramped security office, a sharp, piercing buzz cut through the silence. I froze. I looked down at the archaic console on my desk. The call button for room 402 was lit up. It was an angry, steady, pulsating red light. My breath caught in my throat. Room 402 was on the 4th floor, the sealed unit, the unit where they once kept the most violent patients. I stared at that red light, my heart hammering against my ribs. There are no patients here. There are no working phones in that entire ward. It has to be a short, I told myself. A ghost in the machine, a harmless glitch. But the light, it refused to blink out. It just kept glowing, demandingly, waiting. My instructions were absolutely clear. Investigate all alarms, no exceptions. Ignoring it was a fireable offense, and I needed this job. So, I took the elevator to the 4th floor. The air was instantly different up here. It was heavier, freezing cold. My flashlight cut a weak, jagged path through the absolute hungry darkness. The corridor itself felt stretched, somehow longer than I remembered. Room 402 was at the far end. The heavy wooden door was slightly ajar. I pushed it open slowly. It groaned, a long, low sound that echoed in the empty hallway. I shined my flashlight around. It was empty, dusty. The walls were covered in ancient, water-stained wallpaper peeling away in long, pale strips. I saw a rusted metal frame of what used to be a patient bed. Nothing more. I exhaled, a cloud of cold fog forming in front of me.
Music licensing reimagined.
It's nothing, I whispered, trying to believe it. But the moment I fully stepped inside the room, slam. The heavy wooden door behind me sealed shut. It locked itself from the outside. Panic, instant and absolute, flooded my entire system. The door was heavy, old reinforced wood. I pulled and rattled the metal handle. It wouldn't budge. I was now locked inside the sealed unit, the very place I feared the most. I whirled my flashlight around the small room, the beam now shaking violently with my terror. It fell upon an antique, corroded mirror fixed to the wall above a decaying metal cabinet. I stared at it. Through the dark, distorted surface of the mirror in the reflection behind me, I saw it. A horrifying, pale figure, not quite human, was looming just over my shoulder. Its elongated face was twisted into an impossible, fixed smile, widening and widening. Dark, hollow eyes were fixed directly on mine, staring out from the glass. My blood turned to ice, but when I turned around with a primal scream, the room was empty. I was completely alone, my mind simply fractured. That was it. I turned back to the locked door and slammed my shoulder into it again and again, screaming at the top of my lungs. The ancient, rotted wood brittle with age finally gave way. I tumbled face first into the dark hallway and scrambled to my feet. I didn't look back. I just ran. I ran down the endless flickering corridors, my flashlight beam wildly cutting through the darkness, casting demonic shadows on the cracked walls. I could hear something moving behind me, a wet, elongated scraping sound, like leather dragging on stone, moving faster and faster. I didn't stop running, not for a single breath, until I reached the absolute safety of the main entrance where I collapsed, my uniform soaked in sweat and cold dread. I knew, without a doubt, that entity was still on that 4th floor, locked away, waiting in the deep shadows for the next night shift.